somber day as Al Jazeera Gaza bureau chief Wael al-Dadu says a final farewell to his son Hamza. A fellow reporter for Al Jazeera, Hamza al-Dadu, is one of 2 journalists killed Sunday near Rafah. For Wael al-Dadu, the loss adds to the family's grief. The bureau chief in October learned during a live broadcast that a strike had killed his wife, 15-year-old son, 7-year-old daughter and a grandson. His son Yair was seriously injured. And Dadu himself was injured while on assignment in December.
How can someone receive the death of their oldest son and everything in my life after I lost some of my family members, my wife, son Mahmoud, and Sham and Adam? How can I receive this?
Dadu's son Hamza and Agent France press freelancer Mustafa Tourer were returning from an assignment Sunday when an Israeli airstrike hit their vehicle. The Israeli military told Reuters that the IDF had identified and struck a terrorist, and it was aware of the reports that 2 other suspects in that vehicle were also hit. The 2 journalists killed Sunday are the latest to die in what watchdogs say is an unparalleled death toll for media in war. As of Monday, at least 79 journalists have been killed, nearly all Palestinian, says the Committee to Protect Journalists. The high rate over a short period alarmed the United Nations. A spokesperson Monday reiterated calls that journalists not be targeted.
Journalists, they risk their lives to bring the truth to everyone all over the world, and this is increasingly hard in the conditions that they are facing over there.
Israel's embassy in Washington did not respond to VOA's request for comment, but its spokesperson has said previously its forces never deliberately target journalists. Investigations by groups, including Reuters, dispute that claim. Analysis last month found Israeli tank fire in October had killed the news agency's journalist Issam Abdallah in what appears to be a deliberate attack. Investigations found that Israel knew the location of the news team. Lebanon bureau chief Maya Gabaili says that Reuters is pushing for accountability, and she highlighted the dangerous conditions under which her colleagues work.
That it is a devastating pattern in which we're seeing journalists being unable to do their jobs and being prevented from doing their jobs by that kind of indiscriminate bombardment.
With intense fighting and access to Gaza restricted, accounts from local journalists are vital, she says.
When you have journalists who are there and who are providing these live feeds, it just makes accountability that much more possible.
As Dadu buries another of his children, the International Criminal Court confirms to Reporters Without Borders that crimes against journalists are included in its investigation into the war. Jessica Jerreat, VOA News.
Clashes between Hezbollah and Israel have intensified since Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah said Israel's killing of Hamas senior leader Saleh al-Haruri won't go unpunished. Nasrallah's words have raised fears of a new all-out war, especially among Lebanon's Maronite Christians. Alice lives in Carmel Zaytoun, an eastern suburb of Beirut, in a basement with her husband Bashir and their 6 children, awaiting the arrival of their 7th. Already on the edge of misery, she is terrified that the conflict will destroy her life.
It scares me that the war could reach Beirut. I wouldn't know what to do with the children. Where could we hide? Now, at least, even if we are poor, I can still give them some bread. Then what? May God protect us.
In this time of uncertainty, people say they find strength and support only in their faith.
Now people are starting to think that Lebanese politicians and world leaders are no longer capable of providing solution to the crisis and are turning to God. He is the only one who can give us comfort and strength to move forward.
Kitchen Mariam, a Christian charity, opened 3 years ago in Karantina, one of the areas most affected by the deadly massive explosion at the port of Beirut in August 2020. Volunteers prepare around 1,500 hot meals each day for those most in need.
People come to us knowing they will find a place to eat where they can feed themselves without having to pay a single cent. God willing, we hope we can continue to help them.
For many people, the kitchen is the only thing preventing them from going hungry.
Every day, I manage to put 50,000 to 60,000 lira in my pocket, but it's not even enough to buy a sandwich. Here in Lebanon, there is hunger.
Lebanon, with 80% of the population living below the poverty line, has been suffering through one of the worst economic and financial crises in its recorded history.
The value of the currency deteriorated from pre-2009, it was in the tune of 1,500 lira to the dollar, to right now 89,000 lira to the dollar. The Lebanese lira is effectively worthless right now. If things escalate, the economy will shrink further and it will have devastating humanitarian consequences.
The cross-border clashes between Iran-backed Hezbollah, the dominant force in the south of Lebanon, and Israel, which began on October 8th, have become more intense. The Lebanese forces, the Maronite Christian Rights Opposition Party, is urging Hezbollah to avoid opening a new war front.
Well, the presence of Hezbollah is by itself a threat to the stability of the country. This is not just a Lebanese problem. It's a regional and global, international matter that needs to be looked into.
For the time being, most Lebanese are simply hoping their country will not be engulfed by the Hamas-Israeli war. Nicole Di Ilio, VOA News, Beirut.